All right, friends, here's a blurb for you. This is again from my book, The Book of Doc, Blurbs the Starter Set. It's a short little blurb, and then I'm going to add on to it a little, just improvise a bit. Because there actually was a solution to this problem that came up. Chapter 44, see, 44, it's war. Yeah, I know. I may not be able to come up with a deep and knowledgeable insight on life today. I've been called into service, and it's war. Pre-dawn skirmishes have already taken place. In our once peaceful home, out-and-out war has been declared. Sandy and I are calling all brave hearts tried and true. Yep, from here on in, I've vowed death to a toilet clog. Wish me luck, friends. I'm going into battle with augers held high. Regardless of the Geneva Convention, I may have to use chemical weapons. With a knapsack full of Rid-X and a simple harmonica, I'm marching to the battlefield. That's what I wrote. It all turned out okay. Yes, I'll tell you what happened. Well, of course, a toilet clog. Oh, you know, toilet won't flush. With the plunger and oh my God. And then every now and then you get the overflow. Oh, aren't they fun? Yes. And oh gosh, Millie running in there to see what's up. she's thinking someone's going to get hollered at. Uh, and she's going for the high ground. She's hiding under the bed. And the thing is, it's just, well, you don't know what to do, especially if it's a recurring thing. I mean, you start cutting the fiber in your diet, it's just amazing, just horrible stuff. Well, yeah, we're all grown-ups here. Okay. I went down to, I guess the Home Depot and got a nice auger. I had one. I figured, I looked from the toilet to the septic tank. I figured there's got to be a clog somewhere in there. The septic wasn't overflowing. It wasn't a problem, as far as that goes. No water running down out of the ground and stuff. So it was a clog for sure. Because once the clog finally went away, things moved out rather nicely from the toilet. And so I'm thinking, well, it's got to be somewhere a clog develops. There's got to be something in the way that's messing things up. So I got the auger. I got me an auger. It was about 15 feet long. Realized, much to my horror, that it was too thick. It wouldn't go. There's curves in a toilet, right? Right down. Yeah. There's it's kind of like an S curve before the toilet goes down through the floor and into the main pipe out to the larger pipe out to the septic tank. And if that larger pipe, God, that's about a 6-inch pipe, 5 to 6-inch pipe. If that clogs, you really got a serious digestion problem, I think. So it wasn't that. It wasn't that. I figured it had to be somewhere between that pipe and the toilet. And the only thing else I could think of was, with just the two of us in the house, maybe some debris was building up in the horizontal line with a slight decline to it, slightly inclined line to the septic. Maybe there was something, heaven knows what. Maybe there were kids in the house before Sandy and I moved in. Maybe they flushed I don't know, an erector set down the john or something, or a locomotive from their train set. I don't know, and over the years it's made things a little narrow. So I got a fairly good sized auger, could only get about 3 feet of it into the, from the toilet through the S curve, and then it just wouldn't go any further. At one time I got about 5 or 6 feet, but it was the hardest work I ever did in my life trying to push that in. So God, I don't get it, and I got some more of that stuff that dissolves, it will dissolve steel if you give it enough time. Heaven help you if they, like the Wicked Witch of the North, right? It's like that to the debris in the toilet. when Dorothy threw water on the witch. It's murderous stuff. And, you think, okay, everything's clear. You flush the toilet, seems okay. You use the John the next day, and doggone if it ain't overflowing again. Maddening. Oh my God. And, I'm starting to spend some bucks here. and so I'm down at the depot, and I'm walking up and down the plumbing aisle thinking, God, there's got to be something. I was looking at this auger that has like a crank on it. It kind of corkscrews through boy, that's got to do it. I was thinking of getting, I think they had something like a leaf blower. You stick that, oh my. But anyway, so I'm walking around and I see a guy, his feet were real wet. Okay, his feet were his shoes and stuff. I figured him for a plumber, and I was right. And I said, well, are you working on some problem there, plumbing? He says, yeah. I said, I'm a plumber. So I got my feet wet, as you see. I said, well, I'll tell you what. I said, I got it. I said, I don't have the money for a plumber. He says, well, no, you don't look like you're too rich to me. I said, no, I'm not. And I said, I said, I've got this toilet clog. It will not go away. It's nice for a while, then it clogs up. Then it's nice for a while, then it clogs up. And the toilet's overflowing all the time. I said, you can imagine the mess. He says, yeah. He said, I've been there, done that. He says, here's what it is. He said, what you got to do? He says, you up to the challenge? I said, yeah. He says, okay, here's what you do. You got to unscrew the whole toilet, empty it out, get all the water out of it. Whatever you got to do, bailing can, whatever. He says, just get the water out of it, all of it. I said, okay. And he says, make sure you turn the water off, the feed water. The fresh water goes into, okay. I said, yeah, I can do that. Sure. I said, I used to be a boiler maker. Okay. So I've not too many, there's toilets in boiler rooms, but never had to work on them. He said, well, then you'll be fine. He says, unscrew the toilet and lift it carefully out. Get someone to help you. They're heavy. Okay. Can you handle that? I said, yeah, that would be, my wife's pretty strong. So he says, undo that, lift the toilet up carefully, straight up, put it over on it, put it on its side if it's free of water. He says, it's going to be a bit of a mess. Have a mop ready. I said, okay. And he says, then what you're going to see, he says, is there's a little disc where the pipe goes down through the floor. It's usually right level with the floor. There's like a disc of wax, and chances are that has gotten messed up. You go check and see if that's all messed up. It may be causing your problem. Sometimes after a while, hunks of it break off, or it narrows because it's wax. He says, here, there's one on the shelf. There's a new one. He says, don't get it yet because you got to make sure you got the right size. He says, for God's sakes, you need the right size. I said, okay. And well, he's a very serious plumber. Yeah. And I said, well, all right. And so I go home, do all the stuff he said, and lo and behold, that darn wax thing, the wax thing looked like, instead of this, it looked like that. There was a hunk of the wax had come loose, and was actually, it cut the flow through that pipe by, gosh, and at least an inch or two. In other words, it was like a screen, right, in a way, a bar across the pipe, like a guard. Well, naturally, anything that goes through there it's going to get stuck. And so I'm looking at that, well, for crying out loud. So I went and got one. I ran down, got one of those wax things, stuck it on, and I found that I had. He said, you got to be real careful putting the toilet back down. You really need two guys, again, Sandy and I, putting it down. I goofed and only tried to do it myself. Sandy was walking the dog or something, and walking Millie. So I tried it myself, and I wound up cutting up the wax. Yeah. And I said, oh man, that's not going to work. It's already bent over into the pipe. It's clogging the pipe already. God, I haven't even used it. So I pulled the thing. I said, oh my God, this is going to take forever. And so, so I go back down and I saw that at I think it was a Home Depot, they had a rubber gasket instead that fit just fine. It once it actually inserted itself down into the pipe a bit, and then there was like this pillow of rubber that once you put the toilet back down onto the pipe, there was like a flange thing, and it works like a charm. No leakage. I screwed it all in. And we just couldn't wait to use the John. We had to draw lots to see who'd go first, And darned if it didn't flush like a champ. Oh my God. And so tightened it all up. And gosh, that was 4 or 5 years ago now, friends, since I wrote that story. I just thought I'd give you a progress report. What you do is you'll see it. It's kind of like a soft rubber. It's not like sponge rubber, but it's a rubbery kind of stuff. And it has this sleeve that goes down into the pipe. Button that up, baby, and your throne room is once again yours. Yes. Huh? Hey, I thought you'd like to know. You weren't eating while I was explaining this. Okay, good. Okay, well, that's a wrap. We'll see you later, friends. Again, I hope I was of some help.